Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. Welcome everyone to today's webinar, AI-powered authenticity, leveraging technology to build your content ecosystem. I'm going to make sure also that we are all set to record. Okay, it looks like we're recording. Great.
Yes.
So I did that right. I set it up so it automatically records. Perfect. All right. Start again here. Welcome everyone. AI powered authenticity, leveraging technology to build your content ecosystem. Awesome. So today I'm just really happy to welcome Lydia as my co-presenter. My name is Camille Weiner. If you don't know who I am, I'm the owner of Yodelpop. We are a marketing agency. I've been around for over 12 years. We work with a lot with nonprofits, associations, we work with small businesses, and we work entrepreneur to entrepreneur too. So B to O, business to organization, business to business, and E to E, entrepreneur to entrepreneur. And then we have Lydia, who owns Lydia Varesco Design. She is a fantastic branding and marketing design specialist. And, Lydia, I looked on our LinkedIn profiles today,
Uh-huh.
and we have both been in this business for 30 years this year, according to our
Woohoo!
LinkedIn
I
experience.
love it. Yes, I
So
know we share our college days, so I'm not surprised. I love
I know. So
that.
Lydia and I have more in common than I even knew. I just keep learning more. Lydia and I met in a American Marketing Association special interest group for nonprofits, and we live close to each other. We both live in the North Shore of Chicago, and have become fast friends and just have so much in common. So we're excited to present to you today some content around AI and content and marketing. Today's agenda, I'm going to walk you through a few items, and then I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to do an AI demo. And so I'm going to walk you through a few items just to set the stage for the demo. We're going to go over the importance of authenticity in ranking on search, the benefits of topic clusters as a foundational marketing strategy, and then using AI power to fuel your authentic content strategy. And then I'm going to do a little AI in action. And then we're going to hop over to Lydia. She's going to talk a bit more about the graphic side of content marketing and how to bring that into consistency and real authenticity with your brand from a visual standpoint. And she's very well versed in Canva. And so she's going to talk about and maybe even show you a few Canva tricks, or magic, as Canva actually calls it, a little bit of Canva magic to also help fuel efficiency around marketing. Without further ado, let me hop into some points I just want to cover before we go into our demo. First of all, let's ground ourselves in what authenticity really means, because I know sometimes there's these buzzwords in marketing that kind of go around and all of a sudden you're seeing them everywhere, and authenticity has been one of those words of late. And so it's like, well, what are we really talking about? Let's just get clear about what we're really talking about. Well, we're really just talking about being for real, being an actual bona fide for real, brand, specialist, whatever it is, whether you're in an organization or you're an entrepreneur or whatever. It's like, are you the real deal? And are you marketing and promoting and trying to attract your audience from a place of authenticity in that way, of who you really are, of who your brand is, what your products and services are. So we're not talking about, necessarily getting your camera on and bringing people into your bedroom to show them your whatever, your cool, curtains, or necessarily that you have to always be just showing the personal side of everything. It's really about the balance of your whole brand and who you are and how that clicks with your audience. So that's how I see authenticity. Okay, so we're going to jump in, like I talked about why authenticity is important in search. Okay, so why am I using search? Why am I jumping right into search? Well, because search is very important in this world. Everything is online. We're a digital society. We're a virtual society. Everything is online. And search is kind of one of the main ingredients of how people find us. And so we're going to focus for today, we're going to just focus right in on search, specifically Google search. Google is the #1 search engine. You know, we have other search engines. YouTube is a search engine, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But the scope of today's talk is to kind of talk about the central search, dynamic that we're pretty used to in our society today. So for a long time, when it comes to authenticity and content and all of that, Google has aimed at creating human-centered content. So it's been aiming at this for a while. We, as an agency, have been at it since about 2013, which is right around the time that Google started to kind of change up their algorithms to really be about what the human wants. So it's been about what the human wants for a long time. It's about what humans find helpful and engaging. In August of 2022, they made it official with their helpful content update and ranking system. So basically, they just started to say like, hey, you can't just be throwing keywords out there, you know, stuffing your keywords, you know, putting salesy pages out there, whatever. You have to actually start like connecting with people through your authentic, you know, expertise. So they made it official, and then 2 years later, almost 2 years later, just this last spring, they've doubled down on this with the advent of generative AI and assistive AI. They're doubling down on this because with AI, obviously, there's a lot more opportunity to just like throw out content, just slap it together and throw it up there. So they're serious about this. They're serious about keeping the humans happy. And not start to get, so annoyed by what we don't want, which is a bunch of crap, and give us what we need, which is that informative, educational, highly relevant and resonant content. That's what we want as human beings when we take to the search field. So when it comes to making sure your site is more likely to rank, you need to create content that is actually helpful and relevant to your ideal audience. So not just helpful content, not just like Lydia's got a design, a marketing design agency, so she's going to put up a recipe about like lasagna because that's really helpful. No, Lydia's going to put up content that's really relevant, helpful, and relevant to her audience. And that way, Lydia can start getting traffic that's actually useful to her. And the helpful content that she provides is contextualized to the solutions that she offers her prospects. And so the more content that Lydia, I hope you don't mind, I'm using you as an example, putting up on her website, and it's highly relevant to who she is as a brand and what she offers, Google's gonna love that. Google loves that. So despite the rise of other platforms, Google remains the primary search. They just read a statistic that people are still, that's their primary search. Now, of course, there's lots of others. And like I mentioned, YouTube and LinkedIn and other things like that, where these platforms all kind of want us to stay on those platforms. And so, they've got their own algorithms. Google remains the primary search engine, and it's kind of our go-to for like what's coming, for what is and what's coming. So ensuring that your website ranks well on Google is still really vital for visibility and traffic. So Google algorithms is going to continue to prioritize the content that we put out, and this is their model. It's called the EAT model, and it's experience, content that shows experience, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. This is Google put out this model. I think of it as eat your vegetables. So remembering, when you're going to use AI for your marketing and creating content, it's it's great to remember to eat your vegetables. So you want to make sure that your number one priority for authenticity is going to come from within. It's going to come from within your brand, within your thought leadership, your team, your organization's thought leadership, your expertise, your experience, and the trustworthiness that you're building in creating that content. So a very, very quick primer on pillar content. And the reason I'm giving you this primer is because it's going to lead into our AI. It's going to lead into our AI demo. And let's see, I want to take a quick break because I did want to put up a poll in the meantime. Let's see if I can do this at the same time. Poll. Okay, I'm going to put up a poll, launching a poll. So while we're making our way towards the demo, just go ahead and please let us know your level of experience with AI today. Where are you at with AI today? So again, real quick, a primer on pillar content, AKA the topic cluster. Okay, so this has been around for a while. It was designed with the whole Google algorithm update for helpful content and human-centered content. It was developed with that in mind. And I can say now, after doing over 100 of these types of pillar cluster, topic clusters and all of the funnel around them for all different organizations and businesses, that this has had the most staying power of increasing your traffic, increasing your quality lead conversion. And so in my mind, it's one of those just timeless, essential foundations for marketing. And so I'm going to describe it. So pillar content, in case you don't know what that is, and if you've worked with us, you probably know what that is. Pillar content is, so in the center, you have what's known as a pillar page. It's about 2,500 to 3,000 words. It's a comprehensive page on one of your core topics as a brand. It's a core topic that connects with your audience and what their issues are that you can solve and that you know a lot about and that you can help them with and that you can bring them relief with. And so if you're the kind of business or organization, which there are many of these, that needs to be making this relationship, like Coca-Cola doesn't need this, right? But they may still use it because they have like lots of money to throw at advertising and marketing and all of it. But it's not for everyone, but it's essential for the kind of business or organization where you have some kind of relationship building, where you have some kind of trust building that needs to happen throughout the buyer journey. So people that aren't ready to buy, they're still getting to know you. They're still figuring out what their problem actually is. They may not even know what it is yet. So a topic cluster is a way to address that, to have a way to build that. Now you might have other ways. You might have webinars and events and things like that. Well, while you're doing those, and the people who are searching you and coming to your website, this is their gateway into your brand. And this also addresses SEO. This addresses what Google wants in terms of what they know is human-centered search activity, behavior, intent. And so, and it's a beautiful thing, and I'm not going to go deep into it, but I can go into it in another session a lot deeper. But this type of topic cluster, which again is the 2,500 words and then subtopics that branch out from that core topic, and then they link internally, they are your foundation of authenticity. They are your foundation for your marketing strategy. They are your foundation for content propagation, distribution, repurpose. These types of topic clusters give you a stabilizing foundation for your marketing strategy. So let's just say, if you simplify what marketing is really about, it's basically human psychology and modern avenues of communication. Okay, so the part that has barely changed in thousands and thousands and thousands of years is human psychology. That's the part that doesn't really change that much. Consumer behavior changes, things like that change, but human psychology and the the content, long form content that is about the EAT model is how you, it is right at the human psychology level, right? It's meeting your audience where they're at, where you're at, and where you can start to develop that relationship. So creating high quality, valuable content is going to be timeless. And creating it on your website, I mean, that's just like, that's like that's your home base, right? And so no matter kind of what happens out in the world, what happens with AI, what happens with even search, any of it, it's where you live. If you have the content where you live, you're always going to have an evergreen source of material for wherever you need to go with that. So I'm a gardener. I'm a native perennial gardener. And I like to think of this as like planting a native sustainable perennial garden. The perennial plants, they are very strong and solid if they are native to their region. They work and grow stronger every year because of that's the nature of them. And so I liken the content topic clusters on your website as that perennial garden. Okay, so without further ado, let's move into a demo of how you can train AI to begin your authentic brand and voice, to build your authentic brand and voice into your content strategy. And I want to, just before I do that, I want to just invite you all. Please feel free to put questions in the Q&A, and we will definitely, I can kind of start to look at those while Lydia is giving her presentation. And we will have a Q&A session at the end, which is why I'm trying to, get going here and get my part going in terms of the active demo. So let me shift over to our demo here. All right. So first of all, there is a worksheet, and I'm going to just grab the link again. I did put it in the chat, but it might have been before. If you hadn't joined yet, I don't know if you're going to see that, so I'm going to put it in here again. Okay. Feel free to, grab this right now. It's a PDF, so you can open it up in a browser, you can download it on your computer and, have it open in another window, or you don't have to look at it right now. I'll send it to you afterwards as well. I'm going to be showing my screen and going through this worksheet, going through it high level, and doing a quick demo with AI. All right, so the link is in the chat for you. All right, and so Lydia, are we seeing the AI-powered authenticity worksheet?
Yes.
Awesome.
Sure.
Okay, so you're going to get this worksheet. Okay, this is really an introduction to how you can start building authenticity using AI into your content strategy. Okay, and so here's a bit of an introduction. It's going to go over a little bit of what I've already talked about. So what we want to start doing, and again, this is a little bit lightweight. This is just to kind of get you started, but it's also enough to get you started, basically, on actually creating some quick win content if you want to. So the first thing you want to do, again, let's just acknowledge right here and now that AI is just a tool. It's just another bit of technology on the scene. Yeah, it was huge. It was a big progression. Absolutely. And it's kind of a gift because, we have to make more and more content these days. So yay, thank you, AI. We know it comes with problems, but for today, we're focusing on just how it can help us dig in a little bit more to our authenticity, to who we are as a brand, and how we can utilize and train AI to help us going forward with whenever we want to create content or analyze analytics or use AI as an assistant for any kind of marketing. We need to train it on who we are, who our brand is, who we are individually as authors of a content for our organization or business or whatever. We always want to be training it. And yet at the same time, we want to have a system, so we don't want to get too down rabbit holes. So it's good to have a system. It's just good to start and then build. So right now we're going to just talk a little bit about, and what I would love to do is have a volunteer who is willing to tell me what your list of products, services, and or programs are, and a short description of your target audience. Now, I can let you come on camera and microphone if you would like to do it that way. You could put it in the chat if you're able to do that as a participant, or you can put it in the Q&A. I would love to have a volunteer to test this out with, and we're going to test it out. It's going to be really brief. We don't want to go too far into it. Yes, Lydia, were you raising your hand or anything?
I was not. I
Okay.
was looking at the participants to see if I can call on somebody.
Okay,
Put them
great.
in the hot seat.
Oh, Lydia's going to call on someone. Wow, she's going all in. That's bold. I love it. Okay. Do we have any volunteers who would be willing to tell us, like, even just a product, a service, a program, a membership, anything like that? If not, I do have some fake content I could use for this. So maybe I'll just go ahead and do that. Jody Schneiderman raised her hand first. Okay, let's do Jody. Jody, would you like to talk? Is that okay? I'm gonna say talk. Okay. Jody can talk. Do you want to, and come on camera too? Okay, Jody, go ahead. You're on. Miss Schneiderman,
Okay,
may I call you Jody?
You may. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will spare you being on camera,
Oh,
but so my core topic is collaborative divorce, and
cool. Okay.
and it's a niche market.
Okay, what's your niche
So
market?
it is to therapists who, because it's out of court, it's to therapists who are counselors, couples counselors, and that could potentially get divorced.
Who are counselors
Oh,
of people?
they're marriage counselors.
Who are marriage
So,
counselors? Okay. Okay,
right,
awesome.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
and
We could probably go more into detail, but with time, given our time, we can also keep it really simple. So I put this in my worksheet. Now I'm ready to head over to AI, and I am going to kind of toggle back and forth so that you can all see my screen each time. Okay, so we're going to start with this prompt about the summary of our products and what problems that they and target audience, and what problems they may face that Jody can help solve for them. So we're going to go in here, and I'm just going to copy this out, make sure I copied it out. It's all here for you to just copy and paste. So let's see, where were we with level of experience? Ooh, oh, okay. We have fairly beginner to moderate experience here in AI. So what I've got up on my screen, and I'm gonna go through this a little quickly because of course I always have more things to say than I have time to say, but I also want to make sure you get it all in here. So if you don't know about tools of AI, there's ChatGPT, there's Claude, there's Gemini. Those are kind of the top ones. You can get free account, you can get paid account with more features and that kind of thing. What I've done here is opened up a brand new free account just so we can try free. And when I opened this free account, Chat gave me a trial for 4.0. And so that gives me a little bit more than the free version, which is nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right here in the message field. And okay, thanks. I don't need to know that right now. Okay, I'm going to go right here in the message field, and I'm going to paste my thing. And so I've pasted my prompt where I say I'm going to give you a summary. Now, I don't have to hit return or anything yet. I can just go ahead and give the summary. My service is collaborative divorce. And I always like to say hello and thank you, just because you never know with AI. So I like to, even though it's not a person and it doesn't have human qualities, I still, just in case. So my service is collaborative divorce. And let's see, my audience are therapists who are marriage counselors. Marriage counselors. Now, if you, just a little bit of future, let me grab a drink of water. For, if you don't know this already, if you get the paid version, okay, I'm gonna hit return now. And right away, chat got my gist and is going to, in seconds, tell me what main problems are faced by marriage counselors who have clients facing high conflict divorce. Okay, so this is a marriage counselor, a marriage counselor, not themselves needing the service that Jody offers, but her clients, him or her, they clients do need those things. And so they are perfectly positioned to discuss and refer their clients to Jody. So Jody is looking for how she can help solve the problems of these therapists, which they're not the therapist problems, but they're very intimate with the client problems, right? And so here it is, given us all sorts of information there. And so next up, we're gonna wait for the assistant to generate. In addition, what does the relief look like? So I'm just gonna go ahead and paste that in. This is me building my conversation with GPT, right? It's, I think there's a technical term called chain of thinking or something like that. I don't get all caught up in all that. I just kind of do stuff. I just do stuff. I do a lot of experimenting. Okay, so now ChatGPT has not only given us the challenges and problems or, the issues, the things that therapists are dealing with in their marriage counseling and the kind of clients that they have, but now I've asked it, well, what does relief look? Those are the solutions. What does relief look like to these therapists that as it relates to this product or service? Because when it comes to marketing, you want to appeal to, how you're going to help people, right? And you want to give them an idea of how you're going to relieve them of whatever it is. And so for the therapist, having a referral, being able to talk about something like collaborative divorce, which is perhaps more functional and healthy and less stressful, that might really, give a lot of confidence and stress relief to that particular marriage counselor, because she can now start to talk about something that could be a real solution for this couple. So I won't go into all of it, but you can see all the ideas that you get from this that maybe you didn't think of, or if you were to think about it, it might take you like a month or 2 or 3 and a team, your team going back and forth. Okay, let's brainstorm, go think about it, come back, write notes, blah, blah, blah. Well, now you've got all this information right here in front of you, and you get to decide what resonates the best for you. Now, prompt, wow, you're a whiz, thank you. Can you provide me a summary of this so that I can save it for future reference? So I always like to not always just use all the long content, but I like to get a summary, and then you can put it in your brand guide. You could have a separate like AI brand manual. It's up to you. There's different ideas of how to do this, but now I have a summary that I can pick up and drop in my document somewhere and start to use. Maybe I'm going to take it to my team. Maybe I'm going to, take it to my team and say, okay, we've got something to go on here. Let's talk about this. Let's see what we're going to do. Okay, next up. All right, and so you can put that in here in your worksheet too to save it for later. Fantastic, thank you. Now what I want to do is I want to base this, and I'm not going to do this part, but Once you do that, you can take that summary based on this content. You don't have to take the summary. You can just keep the chat open and just say, great, awesome. Now, based on all of that you know now that I just trained you on about my product and who I am, can you go take a look at my content? Either I'm going to upload it, which I can do in more of the paid versions, I believe. I'm not sure about their free version. I can attach PDFs, docs. I can put URLs of my website in there. Jody can put her website, and AI can analyze all of that. It's going to analyze all of it, and then it's going to come back to me with topics. Basically topics like, okay, I got to know you, I analyzed everything, I looked at what you're already talking about, and I thought about I analyzed your persona and your services. Here's what I think are your core topics. These are the core topics that relate to you and your brand. Typically there's 5. We work with clients, and it's usually 3 to 5 core topics, because one just doesn't always cover it. Though you could start with 1 and you'd already be well off on your journey to creating your content ecosystem. So it's going to give me those core topics. And actually, without doing the other thing, I'm just going to say, great, can you generate core topics that I can create content for that would educate my persona? All right, I'm just winging it because I'm not going to put in all of the other stuff. Certainly, here's some topics. So, understanding collaborative divorce, benefits of collaborative divorce versus mediation. Okay, so you can start to see how it starts to bring to the surface so many ideas, and that was like less than 10 minutes, basically. And we've already got Jody's marketing strategy started. Like, that was just like a whole, couple of weeks, few meetings, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and then we go a little deeper, and I'm not going to go deeper. You'll start to do some subtopics after that. And then at the end, I put an area for you to take that content, and you don't have to go out and figure out how to make all the long form content, but you can have AI help you generate some campaign ideas for short form content to help you play with this. So that's that. Let's get back to here. Now, before we go over to Lydia, which I will turn it over to her in just a second, if you want more help and you want to know more about all of this, if you want to know more about how to use AI for marketing, I am starting a hybrid teaching coaching program. I'm going to be teaching and coaching on the 3 seeds of sustainability, which are mastering your analytics, so knowing where you're starting from, using AI, like we're talking about today, to power your marketing in an authentic way, and implementing an evergreen content ecosystem. So if you're interested, there's my email. Just email me if you're interested, and I'll see if you're the right fit for the program. Real quick, this program is, this is for you if you have a target audience already and you're comfortable delivering your offer, once you're like in front of people and that kind of thing. That's who this is perfect for. All right, so I have taken up a good portion of time, so I am going to turn it over to Lydia. Lydia, would you like me to just keep going with the slide deck?
Yes, that would be great. This way I
Okay.
can just jump into
Yep.
Canva as I need to, but I won't have to manage both at the same time. That would be wonderful.
Thank
Great.
you.
And I see someone raise their hand. Maybe that was from before. Was it from before?
Okay, let's see.
Or I don't know if there was a question. Joaquin?
If there is a question, would you, it might have just been someone interested in the program, I don't know, but if you do have a question, go ahead and put it in the QA. I will be starting to look at those, and we can address some questions after Lydia's presentation.
Perfect. Okay, great. So Camille, I loved your presentation. I was jotting down notes. I'm excited to do that for myself. I have like kind of my pillar content, but I'm excited to see how I can build on it. So that was wonderful. Really enjoyed that. Now I would like to talk about how to align branding with your content marketing. So we'll talk first about just a little bit about, kind of branding, brand strategy, how that aligns with your content strategy, because we do want those to align. And then we'll talk about staying on brand in your content marketing. And we'll talk more about Canva and some of the AI tools that are in Canva. So first, I just wanted to give an overview about branding. So what is branding? Branding is how people perceive and interact with your organization. We can go to the next slide.
Sorry. Okay.
It's kind of a double here. And branding is expressed through the visual and the emotional. So we'll talk a lot about the visual today with Canva, but it's also like we're trying to make that emotional connection with people through your brand. But branding is really all about the who, what, why, and where. And there's a framework that I use, which I've adapted to content marketing. Just a little bit different than the typical framework that I use for branding, but we still use that who, what, why, and where. So we can go to the next slide and then we'll kind of talk about each one individually. So the first part of it is the who. So Camille touched upon the audience, who's reading your content, who's consuming and seeing your content. So those might be looking at their, the demographics or characteristics, their job or role, their values, and their challenges or pain points, and really thinking about who is that ideal audience for your brand. And then next is the what. So that's the problem that's being solved through the content that you're creating. So literally problems you're solving, situations you're making easier, things they can learn. And then inspiration, growth, or possibility. I feel like that's really a big one in content marketing. People really want something to encourage them, to inspire them, to show them how they can make their organization better. And then really kind of knowing what will encourage them to take action. And then next is the why. And the why is really my favorite part of branding. That's really how people connect with you. It's the reason you're sharing the content. Like, why are you sharing this? And why are you the perfect organization to share this? And you're bringing in your story, your point of difference, the benefits they receive by engaging with you, and then what will make them come back after they've seen that piece of content. And then lastly is where. So that's where you are engaging with people. So literally the content channels you're using, the posting frequency, the cadence of the content, where are they reading and engaging with your content and with you? So now let's talk about staying on brand in your content strategy. So this is really important because, a lot of content marketing is very visual. I mean, of course, a lot of it is messaging. It's what you're saying, but a lot of it is also visual. And there's a consistency that you want to keep, and you want people to recognize, when you share a piece of content on social media, your blog, your emails, you want them to know who it's coming from. So the main tactic that I suggest is using a brand guide. So I'm, as Camille mentioned, I'm a brand strategist, I'm a brand designer. I'm really big on brand guides, and I always encourage people to use it for everything that you do, including your content marketing. So looking at your brand guide and referencing your messaging and then your visual branding, that's the first key. And then also creating a social media brand guide. So this is just like a one-pager. I have a template for it in Canva, which we'll share with all of the attendees. But it's just a one-pager that has your colors, your fonts, your brand voice, which is really important for social media, some of the themes that you cover, and then maybe some example posts. And this is really great to have everybody on board, everyone on your team who's maybe creating content, they all know what to expect, what to work with. So the next strategy for staying on brand in your content is to create a Canva brand kit. So we'll talk a little bit more about this, but basically it's a central location for all of your brand assets in Canva. So that's fonts, logos, colors, brand templates. And this, again, you can share it with your internal team. You can share it with outside vendors. And as Camille mentioned, I do have a quick start session where I help people get set up with their Canva brand kit. But today we'll just do a quick little tour. I will jump over to Canva. Let me make sure I'm on the right page.
Okay, she'll let you share your screen, right?
Yep. Yeah, I've got
Right.
it. Okay, great. So hopefully you see the brand kit. This is an example of my own brand kit. And you can see I've loaded in all the different variations of my logo. I've got my brand palette here. And then as we scroll down, you can see I've loaded in fonts. And this is something great in Canva that they allow you to upload your own fonts, which is really cool. So I've uploaded my brand font and then I've assigned, the heading is bold, the subheading is bold and italic. And then this is kind of a newer feature in Canva. You can add your brand voice, and this will help with using some of those AI features that we'll talk about as we get a little further in the presentation. And then lastly, photos, graphics, and icons. So again, it's just a place that you can have everything related to your brand so that you know when you are creating a graphic for your content marketing, that you know that you're using the right colors, the right fonts, your voice is on point with your branding, even just using the same icons, it helps. It creates that consistency. All right, I'm going to stop my
Which
share. We can go
creates
back to
trust,
the,
right? I mean, that
yes.
creates trust. And
Definitely. It
that's
creates a
part of the
connection,
authenticity.
trust. Okay, we can go back to the
Okay,
presentation
you got
real
it.
quick.
Okay, let's see here. Okay.
Yes, sorry, we'll be jumping back and forth a little bit. So the next way to stay on brand in your content strategy is creating Canva brand templates. So I always suggest, and this is part of those Canva brand tools, we touched upon them. So there's the brand kit and there's brand templates. That's the second part of it. But I always suggest to my clients that you create templates for the most often used graphics. So social media graphics, of course, if you do something like featured team member or, team member of the month or, things like that. It's really great to have a template that you can refer to that you're not having to recreate it every time. It's also really great for blog headers, for blog graphics, email headers. And then if you're doing specialized campaigns throughout the year, it's nice to utilize Canva's brand tools and create those campaign graphics so that, again, they're all consistent throughout the campaign. So here's an example of some brand templates that I've created for my clients over the years. The first two are for an arts organization, a collaborative arts organization. So they have, as you can see, they've got templates for their events, for featured performers. They can easily just go in there, swap in and out pictures, add maybe the name or the group, and everything else is there. It's all locked. And then on the right, you can see some templates for another organization where, again, they can have kind of a general template, which has like headline and body text, and then something that's specific to like starting a new chapter, for this honor society. All right. And then another way to stay on brand is using AI, as we mentioned, some of those AI enhanced brand tools that are built into Canva. So there's three that I would say are probably the top three that you might use. The first one is the background remover, and that literally does remove those background elements of your design. And then the next one is the magic edit. And that's where you can edit an image to match your brand, So if there's like a part of the image that doesn't quite work, you can go in and literally draw something new to add to that image. And then the last one is the magic write. So that, going back to when I showed you the brand kit and your brand voice, that literally pulls in that brand voice that you've indicated in your brand kit, and it will write copy. So you can have it write headlines, some post copy, and I'll do a quick demo for each of these. But I do want to point out that Canva Pro is required for most of these AI tools. And really, to use the full range of the brand tools, you do need to have the Pro account. So I highly recommend that one. But now let me jump over and do some of our Magic Studio demos. So the first one is the background remover. So here you can see I have an image here. It's got a background. Maybe if I decided, I don't really like this kind of coral background. I want it to be a different color, so that it's aligning. This is aligned with my brand, but maybe I want it to be another brand color. So Canva has depending on your familiarity with Canva, I will kind of show you where everything is. So when you click on it, you can see right up at the top, your toolbar here, it shows you background remover. And wow, that was fast. It removed the background. So now I could decide if I wanted to add a different color. But this is one of the nice tools in Canva that it's not perfect. You can see there's still a little bit of the orange here, but it's good enough, that you could add another background. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Just add here. Let's just do this background. Hopefully this will work for me. Send to back. All right, so you can easily just, say I decided, oh, I, really would rather have this lovely
Oh, it looks good.
background. And it's not bad, like
Not
I
bad
said,
at all.
as a designer, I'm like, oh, you kind of have a little bit of that orange shadow here. It's not bad. So it's a great tool to use in Canva. If you do find an image and you're like, oh, I love that image, but it's not in my brand color. So that's our first tool, is the background remover. Super easy and pretty successful. It's not Photoshop, but it works on the fly for most images. So the next one that we'll look at is the magic edit. So that's the one that I mentioned. If there was an element in the image that you didn't feel fit or you wanted to add something else. So in this case, so what happens when you go to magic edit? I've already got it loaded just to make the demo easier. So it's going to prompt you, it's going to give you like a brush. So it wants you to select the area that you want to edit. So in this case, I'm just going to select this area, these little greens here in the background. And I've said, add a small succulent to the desk area. So, part of my personal brand, I'm a gardener as well, like Camille. I grow a lot of succulents and tropicals. So I'm going to ask it to add a small succulent to the desk area, and we'll see if it will do it fairly quickly. Last time it took a little bit of time. So we'll see. Hopefully it does it in a timely manner. But basically, it will try to generate an image that you've asked it to generate. And you can see it does say editing faces, hands, or legs isn't intended. I don't like AI for any of those things to begin with because it doesn't really seem to work very well.
We're not quite there yet with images
Yes,
necessarily.
exactly. So now, well, look, that's not so bad.
Too
It's,
bad.
put this little succulent garden here next to my computer. This one's a little better, but it does give you a couple different options. This one's not bad. If I had to use
Yeah.
one, maybe I'd use this one. So again, it's a way to bring in your brand and the specific aspects of your brand into these images that you're creating for your content marketing. Because, instead of using a generic stock photo, you can go ahead and you can change the colors to your brand. You can add these different elements that, speak to your brand, which is really great. And then the last tool we're going to talk about is the magic write. So with this one, you do want to have your voice already established, in your brand kit. So I've added a voice to my brand kit. I think I said my voice is friendly, supportive, and encouraging, something of that nature. So now you could add something yourself. There is a section here that you can just, add sample text that's in your voice. We're not going to go through all of that, but I'm just going to say, write social copy for this Canva branding quick start session. And we'll see. Oh, I'm going to limit. If you don't tell it, it'll write a lot. So limit it to 2 sentences. It's just like, Camille was showing us ChatGPT. You have to be quite specific with it, including, the topic, the length. Otherwise, like I said, it might write you like 3 paragraphs. So here we go. Ready to elevate your brand? Join our Canva quick start session and master the basics in no time. It's not bad. It's not exactly what I would write, but it's not bad. And then
But
so
you get
you
to
can,
edit it, right? You
yes,
get to
you
finesse
can
it. You get to
take
do that
that.
20%, I
Yep.
recommend at least 20% of the human touch.
Yeah, exactly. So then I can just, add it here to my template. Whoops. Probably don't want to mess up my actual real template. But, you know, here's my copy and it's not bad, you know, and I can go in and tweak it. So it's a nice way, you know, I work with a lot of nonprofits. I work with a lot of organizations that have smaller teams. So these AI tools have really become a great way for some of these small teams to do some of these things a little bit quicker. You know, maybe they don't have a copywriter on staff, but they have someone who's, you know, a good wordsmith or something. So they can kind of use these tools and then finesse them to make sure that it, you know, fits the brand and it sounds good. But it's a great start. So let me put this back to where it was supposed to be. And we can go back to the presentation. I think I have maybe a couple more slides. I will
Oh,
stop
yes.
this share.
Yes.
And okay, so yes, so the last part of staying on brand is taking advantage of those Canva nonprofit benefits. So any of you on the webinar today, if you're a nonprofit, if you're in education, they do have wonderful discounts. I mean, it's free, you know, for eligible nonprofit organizations. You do have to be a 501c3, I believe. And there are some other, you know, if you click the link here, I can put it in the chat as well. If you click the link, you can see, you know, what the limitations are. But you can get the Canva teams for free, which is great. And then education, if you're, you know, teacher, student, school, same thing. You know, if you fit those qualifications, you can get Canva for free, which is wonderful. So Canva's been really great about supporting nonprofits, wanting to get it in the hands of nonprofits because they know that it will just help them. Like I know as a designer, I cannot design every single piece that my nonprofits need. Like they really do benefit from using a tool like Canva. So it's nice that Canva themselves are really empowering them as well. And I think
Agree. I
that's,
think it's great when the capacity internally can be built too, because,
yes,
you know, it's like owning your marketing and everyone can own the marketing, right?
exactly. And if I can, as a designer and a strategist, if I can lay the groundwork for them by creating the brand kit, creating some of these templates, you know, they will be able to stay on brand in Canva. Because let me tell you, Canva can get a little crazy if you just
Absolutely.
go in there with a blank page, you know, and just start throwing stuff, you know, it gets crazy. So working with the
Just like
designer or kind of
AI
learning
too.
the design
Yeah.
principles helps.
Right, right. Yep. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Lydia. Clap, clap,
Yes,
clap.
thank you for
All
the
right.
opportunity.
Yeah, so that is our presentation today, and we are open for questions if anybody wants to. I do see one raised hand, real quick, Joaquin, just in case you wanted to say something. I'm gonna just hit the allow to talk thing. You don't have to if you could also put it in the chat or in the Q&A, but I'll give you a second. Well, if anyone else has questions, we have our Q&A panel if you want to do that, or you can raise your hand. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for the presentation. It's really been very beneficial. This is Joachim from
Joaquin.
Uganda.
Oh,
Yeah, from Uganda. I lead a nonprofit, and you know, I think it was the first question that Camila asked, how we can use our product to is it benefit our customers or something like that. And
right.
so I think I was just a little bit uh, left behind, wondering, okay, how would I, from the nonprofit business, looking at especially accountability, promoting, because we do things like writing stories and updates, and we have to use AI these days, I have noticed, to create really beautiful videos and pictures. And so, because our customers are our donors, so I
Hmm.
was just wondering how could I, from the nonprofit, benefit from this kind of conversation today in line with that?
Yes, great question. And you can use this exact sheet that I gave you today, and you can just adjust it a little bit. Yes, for nonprofits, everything is a little trickier, right? Marketing is more complex. There's more KPIs involved. They may not always have to do with money. They may have to do with program numbers, clients, quote unquote clients, the people who receive the benefits of the program. So it's a little more dynamic, but donors aren't just there to give. They're like anyone else. They have an emotional agenda, if you will, and it's not a great word, but they have an emotional need. That's why they donate. They don't just donate because they have a bunch of extra money and they don't know what to do with it, so they'll just throw it anywhere. They have a connection to your organization, and so you can use that. You can use AI, and you can ask about it, have it analyze, have it give you ideas. This is even better for nonprofits because it's less straightforward. So you can go to AI, you can say, we say product or service, that's just kind of the generic. Some nonprofits have services, some nonprofits have products, associations have memberships, for example, different kind of nonprofit. But you can just use that and say, here's our cause, here's what we do. Here's how we serve the community. This is that's your product or your service, is how you are serving a population of the community. What cause you're working towards, what your mission is. You can put your mission in there. You can say, here's our mission. Here is what we do. Here's what we do. Here's how we provide services to the community. So that could be your product service, right? Your audience is here's and if you aren't sure who your audience is, maybe you're just well, we're just looking for donors, you probably are a bit more familiar with your audience than that. But you can start from there. You can say what audience would be good for this, and it could be different. It could be corporations and individuals, for example. You might have two kinds of donors. You might have three kinds of donors. This is where AI is really going to help you fill in those gaps where nonprofits sometimes come to marketing going, marketing isn't for nonprofits. We're not commercial. We're not selling something. Actually, you are. You are a business. Mm-hmm. You are quote unquote selling something. And it's all a business. And so it's just, there's more social entrepreneurship, more social work here being done. And there's still that human emotional connection. And that's what you're looking to make. So you can still use that sheet and just substitute your cause, your mission, and what kind of donors, and you're going to get all kinds of information. You're going to go, aha, didn't think of that, and it's going to start to help you shape your program, your marketing a bit more, and start to help you even understand how marketing is going to benefit your organization. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. If we have anybody else who wants to raise their hand, or I'm just going to check on the Q&A. Just give it a second. If there's no other, we have gone 1 minute over the hour. So I think we did pretty good, actually.
Yes.
And let's see, I want to thank Lydia for joining me today. Lydia had so much fun. I always have fun with you and talking about marketing and working with you. And I want to thank everyone who came today. And just, if you didn't get the worksheet yet, grab that out of go ahead and grab that out of the chat. I'm also going to send it to you. I am going to send you all an email. You're going to get the worksheet, the recording. I'm going to talk a little bit about my program in case you're still interested in that. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Lydia's Canva session, because take advantage of that. That's going to be awesome too. So, and if you have any questions, I also gave my email out there earlier, Camille@Yodelpop.com. Feel free, I can answer more questions, and just want to thank everyone for coming today. And with that, we will close out our session for today, and have a wonderful day, everybody.